Welcome back to another edition of Wake Up America, Wake Up, where the truth is more important than fake news. Delivering the truth like a sledgehammer. Please don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe. Thank you. Now here is your podcast host, Raphael Fries.
Welcome to another edition of Wake Up America, Wake Up. As everyone is well aware, Election Day is coming up. And you, or we the people, have an opportunity
Yes, we can.
to change the outcome of whether the House and the Senate will be run by Republicans or will remain in the grasp of the leftist Democrats. Now, that is not to say that this so-called red wave will benefit everybody, because keep in mind, we do have Republican rhinos, Republicans in name only, who have doubled down and supported President Joe Biden and his agendas, and have demonstrated bipartisanship with the Democratic left. Do your due diligence when it comes to voting on Republicans. Okay, we have Republicans like Liz Cheney. I can name you a list. And I've provided a podcast with all these rhinos who have done nothing more than step aside and let the Joe Biden Express to disaster run its course. They have not considered the people, how we the people are affected by this disastrous administration. Not only do we still continue to have a southern border crisis, but it is now spilling out throughout the country. But yet these sanctuary cities are complaining that they're now undergoing a humanitarian issue. So one question comes to mind. What did you guys do with all that money that permits you to have that status as a sanctuary city that you can't support these illegal immigrants? Open borders policy has allowed millions of illegal crossings into the United States. And Texas is not a sanctuary city. Neither is Florida. A lot of Democratic cities like Chicago, New York, they're complaining that they're, suffering a humanitarian issue because they can't cope with the amount of immigrants coming into their cities. So now they know how Texas feels, because Texas is overburdened with having to deal with illegal immigration on a daily basis. So that should be something that should kind of allow you to focus on who you should vote for. Next, inflation. Well, when President Joe Biden decides to admit that he's the root cause of inflation in this country, instead of blaming Trump, Putin, the war in Ukraine, Godzilla, maybe we can have Republicans in the Senate and in the House that can reverse the closure of the XL pipeline so that we can go back to being self-sufficient, energy independent. You need to look at those Republicans that are willing to double down and say, hey, We need to open up the XL Keystone pipeline. We need to be energy independent. We can't be whores of Saudi Arabian oil, of any country's oil. And of course, that's going to be a blow to all these climate activists who helped get Joe Biden elected president. But the truth is, the climate has been poisoned. The climate is a mess. But that is something that has developed over the years. And do you think that in the next 12 years we can resolve climate change? We can't. We've done enough damage to this planet that to reverse it in 12 years is impossible. We should have been finding new alternative forms of energy. But we can't do it cold turkey. There's no way. A lot of people are going to suffer. A lot of the industries in the United States are going to suffer. But under other industries in other countries, they're not going to suffer. They're actually going to take advantage of us, and they're going to sell us our energy. And then we will be beholden to them. Politicians will be profiting from this. The next thing I wanted to talk to you about is the crime wave, this national crime wave that we're facing. Chicago, do I even need to mention what happens in Chicago on a daily basis? How many people are being killed? I don't have to mention it. But what I do want to mention is what's happening in New York. How the governor and the mayor have done nothing to gain control of the crime that takes place on the subways of all places. Now, the subways in New York is like the artery of all the industries, of all the people that go to work. That is the artery. If you're not driving to work, which is hard to do, especially if you work in Manhattan, in the city, you have to take public transportation. The mayor and the governor are not doing anything to ensure that criminals are prosecuted, that it is safe to travel in the subways. And then the mayor's talking about, if you look at the overall percentage, crime isn't that bad. You try telling that to the victims, right? To the victims. Think of every Democratic-run state that supported defunding the police, because their argument is that the police are racist, that the system is racist. So I think it's time that New Yorkers, anybody that's in a state that has these Soros-backed district attorneys, it's time to start putting people in charge of your states who are concerned with your livelihood, with your lives, with your safety. Now, gas prices goes hand in hand with what Joe Biden did the first day that he took office. The moment that his administration was set up, they wanted to reverse every policy, every good thing that President Trump had done for this country. But you got to give the guy credit for the things that he did do. We had a strong economy. We were oil and energy independent. He got us there. President Joe Biden and his administration and the Democrats reversed that out of spite. A democracy or a republic, right, is where we, the people, believe in self-rule. That's why we appoint elected officials to help govern us. We appoint them. They are public servants to us. They represent us. So the pursuit of freedom, liberty, and happiness, so that we can do that. But we can't do that if politicians are corrupt, if politicians are basically following through on the agenda of those people, companies, industries, foreign entities like the World Economic Forum, like the Council of Foreign Relations, who dictate to us what we need to do for them. I mean, Klaus Schwab says that they built everything, that they are the community. So we are beholden to them like slaves, to live like they want, to think like they want, so they can reap the benefits off the sweat off your back. And they don't even live in this country. They're not even citizens of this country. They are the global elite. They exist. This is not a conspiracy. Wake up. Come November, make your vote count for those politicians that fear God, that support the Constitution, that cares about the citizens that cast their ballot to get them into office. So I'm going to cut this short and ask you, come November, vote your conscience. If you really care about this country, if you really care about your neighbor, if you really care about the Constitution of your future, of your family's future, vote right. Take action. Don't surrender. Wake up, America. Wake up. Bye.